The Great Veggie Dip-Off, Captain Tomato vs. Captain Potato. Once upon a time, in the land of Vegville, a place filled with every veggie you could imagine, there were two legendary heroes, Captain Tomato and Captain Potato. They were both brave, bold, and well-loved by all the veggies. But despite their similarities, they had one major difference: they couldn't agree on who made the best dip. You see, Captain Tomato was the hero of ketchup, the saucy red condiment that kids and veggies alike adored on everything. Captain Potato, on the other hand, believed in the power of mashed potatoes, the creamy, comforting mush everyone loved on a cold day. One sunny morning, as Captain Tomato was polishing his shiny, bright red armor, he heard a familiar voice booming across the fields. "A real dip brings comfort, not spice," Captain Potato declared, waving his mashed potato spoon like a sword. Captain Tomato put his hands on his hips, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Comfort? Who needs that when you can have a burst of flavor?" he called out, tossing a tomato high into the air and catching it skillfully. And so, the Great Veggie Dip-Off was born. The preparation Captain Tomato called upon his trusty squad, the Spicy Peppers, the Onion Brothers, and his famous ally, the Basil Brigade. Together, they prepared the freshest, tangiest, most flavorful ketchup the land of Vegville had ever seen. Each tomato was hand-picked, each pepper perfectly roasted, and each onion finely chopped. They stirred it all up in the giant veggie pot, filling the air with the tantalizing aroma of ketchup. Meanwhile, Captain Potato gathered his loyal soldiers, the fries potatoes, the sweet potato slices, and his steadfast butter boys. They peeled, mashed, and whipped potatoes, adding a dash of cream and a pinch of salt. Soon, their mashed potato mountain was as soft and fluffy as a cloud, and the smell was warm and inviting. The showdown news of the Veggie Dip-Off spread like wildfire. Every veggie in Vegville came to the town square to witness the grand event. The corns, the carrots, the broccolis, and even the mushrooms all gathered around the two tables, one laden with ketchup and the other with mashed potatoes. Captain Tomato and Captain Potato stood on opposite sides of the square, each one grinning confidently at the other. Finally, Mayor Lettuce stepped forward, holding up a golden spoon. "Let the tasting begin," Mayor Lettuce announced, raising the spoon like a flag. The first to step forward was young Billy Broccoli, a tiny broccoli sprout. He approached Captain Tomato's table, dipped a floret in the ketchup, and took a big bite. His face lit up with excitement. "Wow! It's like a party in my mouth." Captain Tomato grinned, giving a victorious wink to Captain Potato. But Captain Potato was undeterred. Next, Billy dipped another piece of broccoli into the mashed potatoes. As soon as he tasted it, his eyes grew wide, and he gave a little sigh of happiness. "It's so comforting. Like a warm hug." The crowd murmured with delight as more veggies stepped forward to taste the dips. Some preferred the bold tang of ketchup, while others adored the creamy richness of mashed potatoes. Soon, it became clear that there was no clear winner, both dips were equally loved. The surprising twist: just when everyone thought the competition would end in a tie, a mysterious figure entered the square. She wore a dark cloak, and her face was hidden under a hood. The veggies whispered in curiosity and excitement. "Who is that?" they asked each other. The figure stepped forward and revealed herself. It was Madame Garlic, the oldest and wisest veggie in Vegville. She held a small jar in her hand. "I have a suggestion," she said in a wise, crackly voice. "Why don't we try a combo?" The crowd gasped. "A combo? Mixing mashed potatoes with ketchup? It was unheard of. But Captain Tomato and Captain Potato exchanged a curious glance. After all, they had come this far, and neither wanted to turn down a chance for a new flavor. With Madame Garlic's guidance, they poured a dollop of ketchup over a spoonful of mashed potatoes. The crowd held its breath as they each took a bite of the concoction. Captain Tomato's eyes widened. Captain Potato's jaw dropped. "It's amazing!" Captain Tomato exclaimed, laughing. "Like nothing I've ever tasted," Captain Potato agreed, grinning from ear to ear. The crowd erupted in cheers as everyone rushed forward to try the new mix. The ketchup added a tangy punch to the smooth, creamy mashed potatoes, and the combination was a sensation. And so, the great veggie dip-off ended in a way no one had expected, with a brand new recipe. Captain Tomato and Captain Potato shook hands, and from that day forward, they became the best of friends, creating delicious dishes together. Veggies all across Vegville celebrated the new creation, and the legendary combo of ketchup mashed potatoes became a favorite for years to come. And whenever someone asked Captain Tomato and Captain Potato which was the better dip, they'd look at each other, laugh, and say, "Why choose, when you can have both?" And so, Vegville lived happily ever after, enjoying the best of both dips in harmony.